A room, too quiet. Then the sound breaks it. Not a scream. Not at first. A breath that can't find its way out. Then, no, it's not what people think. Her voice folds in on itself. Someone drops a glass. It doesn't shatter. It just rolls, slow, across the tile, as if even it is unsure whether it should make noise. She's standing near the window, but not looking outside. The curtains are half drawn, sunlight cutting the room into uneven pieces, dust in the air, heavy, floating like it has nowhere else to go. Her shoulders shake, and in the middle of it all, his name. Not shouted, not dramatic, just said, like something fragile that might crack if handled too hard. Sello. There are people in the room, but no one moves toward her. That's the strangest part. Grief usually pulls people together. This one pushes them apart. Everyone standing slightly too far from everyone else. As if the truth has edges. She wipes her face with the back of her hand. It doesn't help. The tears keep coming, quick and hot. You don't understand, she says. He didn't want this. Didn't want what? The silence answers. Outside, a car passes. Life refusing to pause. Somewhere, a dog barks. Ordinary sounds. Offensive in their normalcy. Her knees almost give way. Someone reaches out, stops midway, pulls back. Because what do you hold when the foundation is gone? The confirmation doesn't come in a dramatic speech. No big declaration, no cinematic confession. It slips out between sobs, half words tangled together. It's true, she whispers. It's all true. That's it. No explanation attached. No neat summary. Just a truth hanging in the room like smoke. And suddenly, the image people carried of him, steady, towering, voice like thunder on stage, cracks. Not loudly, quietly. The way porcelain fractures from inside. She presses her palms against her face. He tried, she says. He really tried. The sentence feels unfinished, like she meant to say more, but the rest refuses to cooperate. A chair scrapes against the floor. Someone sits down heavily. Someone else starts pacing, but only manages 3 steps before stopping. Nobody knows where to place their eyes. There's a photo frame on the wall. Him smiling. Not the public smile. The private one. The soft corner-of-the-mouth kind. It feels inappropriate now. Almost cruel. He told me not to say anything, she breathes. There it is. A secret with fingerprints. Her voice drops lower. Not because she wants it to, because it's running out of strength. You all thought he was strong. A pause. He was tired. The word lands wrong. Too small for what it carries. Tired how? Tired of what? No one asks. The answers are already bleeding through the cracks. She slides down into the chair by the window. The light shifts. Afternoon turning heavier. Shadows lengthening like questions no one dares to ask out loud. He didn't want you to see him like that. Like what? Her hands twist in her lap. Nails pressing into skin. Red marks blooming quietly. Not broken. The room inhales. Broken. It doesn't match the image. It doesn't match the man people thought they knew. The applause. The headlines. The interviews where he laughed too loudly, maybe. Was that when it started, or was it always there? She shakes her head as if arguing with memories. You don't know what it's like, she says, but not accusingly. Just stating a fact. To watch someone disappear while they're still standing in front of you. A clock ticks somewhere, loud, unforgiving. She looks at the door as if expecting him to walk through it. Correct the narrative. Smile. Say this is all exaggerated. That everything is under control. He doesn't. The confirmation sits heavier now. Not a rumor, not speculation. Her. His daughter. Saying it with swollen eyes and a voice that doesn't belong to someone her age. He asked me to promise, she says. Promise what? The room leans forward without moving. that I wouldn't let them turn it into a show. Too late. Her breathing steadies for a second, then breaks again. He was afraid, she admits. The word feels forbidden, almost disrespectful, as if fear doesn't belong next to a name that carried so much weight. But there it is, afraid, of losing control, of losing himself, of losing. She stops, shakes her head. Not ready. Someone finally crosses the space and kneels in front of her, whispers something. It doesn't matter what. Comfort is a language that fails on days like this. She looks up, eyes raw. It wasn't sudden, she says. It wasn't out of nowhere. Which means it was slow. Which means she saw it coming. Which means she had to live inside that waiting. The terrible kind. The kind where you measure time in hospital visits, in unread messages, in conversations that end too quickly because neither of you can handle what's underneath. She laughs suddenly, a broken, disoriented sound. He kept saying he was fine. Of course he did. Fine is easier. Fine keeps people comfortable. Fine avoids the questions. She wipes her face again, smears mascara across her cheek. Doesn't notice. I thought I had more time. There it is, the sentence people carry forever. More time. The room is darker now. No one turns on the light. As if brightness would insult what's happening. Her phone vibrates on the table. She doesn't look at it. Please, she whispers, but it's unclear who she's speaking to. The media outside, the people speculating, or him. I'm telling you because I have to, not because she wants to, because silence has started to feel like betrayal. She closes her eyes. He's not what you think right now, she says, and he's not what they're saying either. So what is he? The question hangs, unanswered. Her crying softens into something quieter. Not resolved, just exhausted. Outside, the light fades another shade. Inside, nobody knows how to stand anymore, or sit, or breathe correctly. A room, a daughter, a truth confirmed through tears. And the air, still thick, still unfinished, refuses to settle. She doesn't look at the cameras. They're there. Red lights blinking. Hungry. But her eyes stay fixed on the floor, on a thin crack in the tile that runs from one corner of the room to the other, like something split open and never repaired. Her hands are locked together so tightly, her knuckles fade to white. She keeps rubbing her thumb against the side of her finger. Back and forth. Back and forth. A nervous rhythm. Not dramatic. Just human. On the chair beside her is his coat. That old brown one. The one with the frayed cuff he refused to throw away. The fabric near the wrist slightly darker where his hand used to rest. You can almost see the shape of him in it. The shoulders wide. The collar permanently folded in a way no iron could fix. Someone tried to move it earlier. She said no. Just that. No explanation. Now it sits there, heavy, as if it carries more than cloth should. A cough echoes in someone's memory. Not in the room. Not now. But remembered. That dry, stubborn cough he brushed off with a half-smile. It's nothing, he'd say. A hand lifted dismissively. Eyes tired in a way that didn't match the joke. She presses her lips together. The cameras zoom in slightly. She still doesn't look up. You all think you know, she says quietly. Not angry, not pleading, just tired. Her foot taps once against the leg of the chair. Stops, starts, again, stops. In the corner of the room, a glass of water sits untouched. Condensation sliding down the side slowly, pooling at the base. No one reaches for it. She inhales sharply, as if she's about to say something that will rearrange the air. Then she doesn't. Silence stretches. One of the reporters shifts in their seat. The sound of fabric rubbing together feels too loud. She reaches out and touches the coat. Not dramatically. Just 2 fingers against the sleeve, like she's checking if it's still real. He hated the cold, she murmurs. A small detail, almost irrelevant. But she says it like it matters. Like the memory of him pulling that coat tighter around himself is more important than whatever headline they're waiting to print. She swallows. Her mouth opens, closes. Her jaw tightens. The room leans forward again without moving. He would sit by the window, she says instead, even when the sun was too bright. No explanation attached. Just an image. A man by a window. Light cutting across his face. Eyes half closed. Not asleep. Not awake. Somewhere in between. She wipes her cheek quickly, almost irritated by the tears now. I told him to rest. The sentence lands softly. She doesn't clarify when, or why, or what he said in return. Her phone vibrates again. This time she flips it over so the screen faces down. I'm not here to... She stops. The cameras wait. She shakes her head. Not here to defend, not here to accuse, not here to perform. But she doesn't say any of that. Her fingers curl into the fabric of the coat. Grip. Release. Grip again. Someone in the back whispers something. It doesn't reach her. You didn't see him after, she says suddenly. After what? No one asks. The word hangs there, incomplete. A door half opened. Her breathing grows uneven again. Her eyes finally lift. But not to the cameras, to the ceiling. As if answers might be written there. He told me not to cry, she says. A small laugh escapes her. It doesn't sound like laughter, as if that was possible. She presses her palm against her chest briefly. A reflex, like she's trying to steady something inside. On the table in front of her is a folded piece of paper. She doesn't touch it. Not yet. The cameras notice. Of course they do. A flicker of anticipation moves through the room. Not visible, but felt. She sees it too. Her shoulders stiffen. You're waiting for me to say it, she whispers. Not accusatory, just aware. Her gaze drifts back to the coat. There's a faint stain near the pocket. Coffee, maybe, or something darker. Hard to tell. She traces it with her eyes, but not her hand. He thought he could handle it alone. There's something sharp under that sentence. Something unsaid. A reporter leans forward slightly. Pen poised. She notices. Her lips tremble. I didn't, she begins. Stops. Her throat tightens. The room goes still again. Outside, a siren wails somewhere far off. Fades. She closes her eyes. Her shoulders rise with a breath that feels too heavy for her frame. I didn't know, she tries again. And then nothing. The sentence collapses before it reaches the floor. She shakes her head as if arguing with herself. The cameras inch closer. Her fingers move toward the folded paper. Hover. Withdraw. Not yet. She looks down at her hands instead. At the faint crescent marks her nails have left in her skin. You all talk about strength, she says quietly, about legacy. She almost smiles. Almost. But you don't know what it costs. Still no explanation. No timeline. No diagnosis. No clear event pinned to a date. Just fragments. A coat. A window. A cough. A promise. Her hand finally rests on the folded paper. Doesn't open it? Just rests there. The room feels smaller now. She inhales again. Her lips part. And she says, nothing. Not yet. He used to stand under lights so bright they erased the edges of his shadow. Thousands of faces dissolving into one roaring blur. Applause crashing against him like a living thing. And he would lift his chin just slightly, never too high, letting the sound pass through him as if he were built for it. As if noise was oxygen, and he had never once struggled to breathe. But now, silence. Not the dignified kind, the suffocating kind. She looks at the paper again. Her fingers tremble. Stop! Tremble harder! He had hands that rarely shook. Even when the scripts changed at the last minute. Even when the microphones failed. Even when the headlines twisted. His hands were steady. Large. Warm. Veins visible beneath the skin like thin blue rivers. She presses her thumb against the crease of the folded sheet. He said it wasn't pain, she blurts out suddenly. Too fast, as if the words tripped over each other trying to escape. He said it was just pressure, just weight, just something sitting here. She taps her own chest, not gently, and it would pass. A long breath spills out of her, uneven, jagged, like it scrapes on the way up. It didn't pass. 2 words. Heavy. The room shifts. Someone coughs awkwardly. The irony almost cruel. Her eyes flick toward the sound. For a second, something flashes there. Not anger. Not exactly. Something sharper. Then it's gone. He hated hospitals, she says, voice quieter now, stretching thin. The smell. The way people look at you like they already know. Already know what? She doesn't answer. She runs a hand through her hair, and it stays slightly out of place. She doesn't fix it. He used to adjust his collar before interviews. A tiny habit. Straighten, smooth, clear throat, smile. Not fake, just arranged. Arranged? She stares at the coat again, as if expecting it to move. He told me to keep it together, she says, even when he couldn't. That lands wrong. Too honest. Her breathing speeds up again. I thought he was just tired from work, she continues, the words coming faster now, overlapping, stumbling. You know how he is, was, always pushing, always saying yes, always showing up even when he shouldn't have, even when his eyes were. She can't finish. Her mouth stays open for a second too long, then shuts. A pause. Long. Longer than comfortable. The cameras don't blink. She leans forward suddenly, elbows on knees, paper crushed slightly in her grip. You didn't see the nights, she says. Flat. You didn't see him sitting in the dark because the light was too loud. Too loud. A strange phrase, but she doesn't correct it. Her voice grows softer. He would sit there and just breathe. Inhale, exhale, as if that was the only task left in the world. The sentence runs out of air. She swallows hard. And then, a whisper. I was scared. There it is. Small. Bah! No dramatic framing. Just that. The word floats in the room, fragile and unprotected. She laughs again, but it breaks halfway through. You think heroes don't break, she says, suddenly louder, the rhythm shifting again, tumbling over itself. You think because someone can carry a stage, carry a story, carry a whole room on their shoulders that they can carry themselves the same way. But it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. It just. She stops abruptly, breath caught. The paper crumples slightly in her fist. He had a way of clearing his throat before difficult conversations. A soft, almost polite sound. She imitates it unconsciously now. It doesn't help. They're calling it shocking, she says, her tone dipping again, quieter, uneven, like it came from nowhere. She shakes her head. It didn't. Short. Certain. Her fingers finally unfold the paper just a little. Not fully. Just enough to reveal handwriting. His handwriting. Slanted. Confident. Slightly messy at the edges. She stares at it but doesn't read aloud. Not yet. Her shoulders rise and fall once. Twice. He had once said, on stage, in front of a sea of people, that fear was just a story we tell ourselves. The crowd had cheered. He had smiled. He had believed it. Maybe. But that night, no applause. No lights. Just the sound of him walking slowly down the hallway, each step heavier than the last, and her pretending not to notice, because pretending was easier than admitting she didn't know how to help. She looks up suddenly. Directly at the cameras this time. It's brief. But it's enough. You want the truth? She asks. The question hangs. No one answers. Her lips part again. Her voice lowers. And she says, not yet. Not fully. Just enough to make the air shift. He asked me to promise I wouldn't let you turn him into a headline. A beat. And here we are. Silence again. Louder than anything she's said so far. Her fingers tighten around the page. Her eyes close. And the room waits. She wipes her face again. Harder this time. Almost angry at her own tears. as if crying is a betrayal of the tone she's trying to hold, as if the cameras are stealing even that. Her palm drags across her cheek and leaves a faint smear. She doesn't care. She doesn't fix it. Let it be ugly. Let it be real. I loved him, she says, and the sentence comes out too clean, too simple, like it doesn't belong in this room. Then she ruins it on purpose. But I'm angry. 2 words. No explanation. No softening. Angry at who? At him. At them. At herself. All of it. Her gaze flicks to the coat again. That old coat that everyone now treats like a relic. She hates that too. How quickly people turn someone into an object. A symbol. A story that fits neatly in a thumbnail. You know what he was good at? She says, voice rising, then falling again mid-sentence, like she can't decide whether she wants to fight or disappear. He was good at making you feel safe. A pause. He was not always good at being safe. The room shifts. A few people look down. Someone's pen stops moving. She exhales through her nose, sharp. I'm not here to paint him as a saint, she adds quickly, almost spitting the word saint. He had a temper. He could be stubborn. He could... She stops, searches for a word, finds none that feels legal, none that feels fair, none that won't be ripped out of context and sold. Her jaw clenches. He could vanish, she says finally. Not physically, not necessarily, just emotionally. Like the person in front of you is there, talking, smiling, but the eyes are already somewhere else, already leaving. Her fingers worry the edge of the paper again, folding and unfolding it without meaning to. And I know what you're thinking, she says, turning her face slightly toward the cameras without fully meeting them. You're thinking, why didn't you stop it? There it is, the unspoken accusation. She laughs, but it's bitter now, a single bark of sound that dies immediately. Stop what? She snaps. Then her voice breaks. I didn't even know what it was. A contradiction, delivered raw. She doesn't correct herself. She doesn't tidy the logic. She loved him. She didn't understand him. Both can exist. Her shoulders sink, then stiffen again like she's bracing for impact. He wasn't helpless, she says, and he wasn't invincible. Not a martyr, not a villain, just a man who could fill a room and still come home empty. She looks down at the handwriting on the paper again. Her eyes narrow, like she's mad at the ink. You know what hurts? She says quietly. He could tell the whole country what to do with their hearts. A longer breath. And he couldn't tell me what was happening to his. She presses the paper to her chest for a moment, then lowers it again like it burns. There's a small sound from the back. Someone trying to clear their throat. She swings her head toward it, sharp, defensive. Don't, she says. One word, a warning. Then, softer, as if she regrets the harshness but refuses to apologize for it. Just don't. She sits back. The chair creaks. The room suddenly feels too close, too warm. She picks at a loose thread on the coat sleeve. Pulls it. Stops before it unravels. He promised me, she says, and the bitterness returns. But it's mixed with something else now. Something like shame. Like she's embarrassed for believing in promises. He promised he would slow down. He promised he'd see someone. He promised. Her voice catches on the third promise. She stares at the floor again. He lied, she says. Not loudly, not dramatically, like someone stating the weather. And then she immediately shakes her head fast. No, she corrects herself, but not really. Maybe not lied. Maybe he believed it when he said it. Maybe he said it because he wanted me to stop looking at him like that. Like what? Like she could see the crack. Her eyes fill again. She looks furious about it. I hate that you're here, she tells the cameras, the words tumbling out, uneven. I hate the lights. I hate the questions. I hate the way you say his name like you're tasting it. I hate... She stops, because she hears herself, and she hears him, somewhere in her memory, saying, Easy, easy. Don't burn everything down. But part of her wants to. Part of her has been holding a match for a long time. She swallows, breathes through her nose. Then, unexpectedly, she says, "He wasn't always kind." The room stills, not because it's scandalous, because it's honest. "And I wasn't always patient," she adds quickly, refusing to let the blame rest in one place. "Sometimes I said things I can't take back." Her fingers dig into her palm. Sometimes she doesn't say, "I walked away when he needed me." Sometimes she doesn't say, "I made it about me." But the silence around her words suggests it anyway. She looks up again, eyes wet, angry, defiant. "Do you want me to tell you what the truth is?" she asks, voice trembling now, not from fear, but from rage. Rage at the simplicity people demand. "You want one sentence. One clean thing you can repeat." She leans forward. Her voice drops low. And when she speaks, it lands like a stone in water. No splash, just depth. "He didn't just leave us. A beat. He left parts of us unfinished." The room goes quiet in a different way. Not sympathetic, stunned. She blinks rapidly, as if surprised by her own sentence. Then she shakes her head again, almost apologizing to herself. "I shouldn't have said that," she whispers. But she doesn't take it back. Her gaze shifts to the paper again. Her thumb slides along the edge, smoothing it, as if she could smooth the entire story into something bearable. "I still protected him," she says. "Even now, even here. And I still get mad when people talk about him like they knew him." Her lips tremble. "I don't know if I knew him." That's the worst confession. Not that he hurt her, not that he hid things, but that love doesn't guarantee access. She looks at the coat one more time, touches the cuff again, gently now. Then she says, almost under her breath, to no one and everyone, "He made choices." A pause. "And so did I." No verdict. No tidy blame. Just two imperfect people and a truth that refuses to line up in a straight line. Her eyes drift back to the cameras. And for a second, she looks like she might finally read the paper aloud. But instead she folds it again, slowly, carefully, as if delaying the moment is the only power she has left. She doesn't unfold the paper all the way. Not yet. Her fingers shake again, worse this time, like something inside her has finally decided it can't be held back anymore. The room leans in without meaning to. She inhales, too sharp. Her voice comes out rough. "You want to know what he said to me?" No one answers. She doesn't wait. "He said—" Her throat tightens. She swallows hard, then forces it out, word by word. No polish, no rehearsal. "Do I still look like myself?" Silence. It hits wrong. Not heroic, not poetic, just small, terribly small. She lets out a broken breath. "You all think he was strong," she says, suddenly louder, eyes flashing. "You think he walked around unshaken?" Her hand slams lightly against her own knee. "He couldn't eat." A pause. "He couldn't sleep." Her voice cracks, but she doesn't stop. "He would sit at the edge of the bed at 3 a.m, just staring at the wall like it was going to answer him." Someone in the back shifts uncomfortably. She doesn't care. "And the doctor said it," she continues, the words tumbling out now, uneven, tripping over one another. "The doctor said it 3 months ago. He said, 'This is serious.' He said, 'If he doesn't slow down—'" She stops. Her jaw tightens. Her eyes squeeze shut for 1 second too long. "We knew," she whispers. There it is. Not shouted, barely audible. "We knew." A tear falls onto the folded paper, leaving a small dark mark. "We just didn't say it out loud." Her shoulders start to shake again, but there's anger mixed in now, not just grief. "He told me, don't let them see me like this." She looks straight at the cameras. This. Her hand gestures vaguely toward herself, toward the room, toward the cracks in everything. "You think I wanted to sit here and say it?" Her voice drops. "He was scared." She laughs once, sharp and ugly. "He was terrified." The word hangs heavier than anything before. He said, "I don't recognize my own mind anymore." Gasps ripple through the room, small, involuntary. She nods once. "Yes," she says flatly. "That's what he said." Her fingers dig into the paper. "He would forget things," she continues. And now her voice is trembling, not from weakness, but from the weight of finally not holding it in. Names, dates, conversations we just had. And he would pretend. He would smile and pretend. Her breathing becomes uneven again. And when I asked him what was wrong, he said, she forces the words out, mimicking his voice without meaning to. "I'm just tired. Stop looking at me like that." A long pause. She wipes her face with the heel of her palm. "You want the worst part?" she asks. No one dares answer. "The worst part is he apologized." Her lips tremble. He said, "I'm sorry I'm not who I used to be." The room feels smaller, air thinner. She looks down at the coat. "He tried to rehearse strength," she says quietly, like it was a script. Her voice breaks again. "But off stage," she shakes her head. "He couldn't hold it." She presses her fingers to her temples briefly. "And yes," she blurts out suddenly, almost defensive, almost daring someone to challenge her. "We argued. I told him to cancel things. I told him to stop pretending. I told him I didn't care about the shows." Her eyes harden, and he told me, "You don't understand." A bitter smile flickers. "Maybe I didn't." She inhales again. Her voice lowers to almost a whisper. "The doctor said it wasn't just exhaustion. She doesn't use the clinical terms, doesn't list diagnoses, doesn't tidy it up. He said it was deeper, a beat. And I saw it in his eyes." She looks directly at the cameras now, no flinching. "You want confirmation?" Her voice is steady for the first time. "He wasn't okay. Simple. Unvarnished. He hasn't been okay for a long time." Her hands start shaking again. "We've been covering it." The word feels like a confession. Smiling through it. Posting through it. Applauding through it. Her voice cracks open completely now. And he said, "Please don't let them remember me weak." A tear slides down her cheek. She doesn't wipe it away this time. "Well," she whispers, almost to herself, "this is what weak looked like." The room is silent. No pens moving. No chairs creaking. Just her breathing. And then she says the sentence that rips the air open completely. "We were told to prepare." Not dramatic. Not shouted. Just placed there. 3 words. Heavy enough to crush the room. She looks down at the paper one last time. Finally unfolds it fully. Her hands tremble as her eyes scan the handwriting. She doesn't read the whole thing. Just one line. He wrote, "If I disappear before I fix this, don't hate me." Her voice collapses on the last word. "Don't hate me." She presses the paper to her chest again. "And I don't," she says through tears. A pause. "But I'm not at peace either." No lesson. No closure. Just a truth torn open, bleeding in the middle of the room. Impossible to package. Impossible to soften. Her fingers stop moving. That's how you know it's coming. Not the cameras, not the breathing, not the way the air tightens. Her hands, they go still. She doesn't unfold the paper this time. She doesn't look at it. She just speaks, low, rough. He stopped eating. No build-up, no dramatic pause inserted for effect. Just that. He said he wasn't hungry. A swallow. He hadn't been hungry for weeks. Someone shifts in their seat. She doesn't look. He'd push the plate away and joke about it. A small exhale that might be a laugh, but isn't. "I'll eat later," he'd say. She blinks hard. He didn't. Silence swells. But she keeps going, as if afraid that if she stops now, she won't start again. He didn't sleep either. Her voice cracks on sleep. I would hear him walking. 3 in the morning. 4. A long inhale. Just walking. Her jaw tightens. And I asked him what was wrong. She looks up now, directly, no flinching. And he said, "Nothing." A beat? He said, "I'm fine." The word hangs there like an accusation. Fine. She shakes her head slowly. He wasn't fine. Short, certain. Her fingers curl inward. 3 months ago, she continues, her rhythm uneven now, tumbling and stopping and tumbling again. The doctor said it, out loud, in a room that smelled like disinfectant, and something metallic and something final. She swallows. He said, this isn't just exhaustion. Her breathing grows shallow. He said, he's not coping. The room shifts again, not loudly, but enough. And we nodded, she says, her voice thinner now, almost transparent. We nodded like we understood. A long pause. We didn't. Her throat tightens. He didn't want it written down, she says suddenly, faster, almost defensive. He didn't want the word on paper. He didn't want it on record. She presses her palm against the table. He said, don't let them call it that. Her voice drops. He hated the word. She closes her eyes. I hate it too. A reporter's pen falls. The sound is small. It echoes anyway. She opens her eyes again, but there's somewhere else now. Somewhere private. You want the truth? She whispers. No one answers. You want me to say it clearly so you can quote it? Her lips tremble. We knew. There. No decoration. We knew he was not okay. Her chest rises sharply. We knew he was breaking. A breath catches. We just didn't know how far. Her hand moves to her mouth, as if to hold something back. She lowers it again. He told me not to tell anyone. Her voice turns hoarse. He said, if they know, they'll look at me differently. A pause. And I believed him. Her shoulders collapse inward. I thought protecting him meant staying quiet. The sentence fractures at the end. And then she stops. The room leans forward. Her eyes flicker to the coat one last time. He said something the night before. Her breath stutters. He said, I'm tired. 2 words. Nothing poetic. Nothing cinematic. Just tired. She swallows hard. And I said, you'll feel better tomorrow. The confession lands flat. Ugly. Honest. Her lips part again. And he looked at me. A beat, like he already knew. The silence after that is not empty. It's dense, heavy. No one writes. No one coughs. No one shifts. The cameras keep running. Red lights blinking. Unblinking. She doesn't move. Doesn't cry. Doesn't explain. The coat remains on the chair. The folded paper rests in her hand. A room. Too quiet. No one says anything. The air does not move. And the silence, thick, unedited, unbearable, stays. No one calls the conference finished. It just dissolves. Chairs scrape softly. A cough. Fabric brushing fabric. The red lights on the cameras stay on a few seconds too long, then blink off one by one. Not dramatic. Just mechanical. A small death of attention. She doesn't move when they start packing up. The coat is still beside her. The paper still in her hand. Someone approaches her, stops, changes their mind, leaves. The door opens, closes, opens again, closes. Footsteps fade down the hallway. The room empties without ceremony. She sits there, still. The lights above hum faintly. A fluorescent buzz that was always there, but only becomes audible when voices disappear. She looks smaller now, not physically, just unguarded. Her phone vibrates on the table. She turns it face up this time. A name flashes. She stares at it. Doesn't answer. The vibration stops. Starts again. Stops. She exhales through her nose. Outside the window, the sky has shifted from late afternoon gray to something darker, heavier. The kind of blue that doesn't promise stars. She finally stands, slowly. The coat slides from the chair, and she catches it before it hits the floor. For a second she presses it to her face. Not dramatically, just to breathe. It smells faintly like him. Or maybe that's memory filling in the gaps. She folds the paper carefully now. Not crumpled. Neat. Precise. Like control can still exist in small movements. The hallway outside is nearly empty. A single overhead light flickers once, then steadies. Her steps are quiet, measured, each one echoing just slightly against the tile. She passes the framed photo near the exit, the one taken years ago. Him laughing, head thrown back, eyes alive. She doesn't stop to look at it. The front door closes behind her. Outside, the air is cooler. Night has arrived without announcement. Streetlights hum to life. Cars move past without slowing. She walks to her car but doesn't get in immediately. Stands beside it instead. Looks at nothing in particular. Her phone lights up again. Another call. Another name. She watches it ring. Lets it fade. The coat is draped over her arm now, sleeve hanging low, brushing against her leg. Somewhere nearby, a door shuts. Footsteps cross pavement. She gets into the car. Doesn't start it. Just sits, hands on the steering wheel. The interior light dims automatically. The world outside the windshield feels distant, like she's already somewhere else. Her phone lights up again on the passenger seat. She doesn't turn her head. The screen glows. Vibrates once, twice. Stops. Dark. She leans back in the seat and closes her eyes. For a moment, there is only the faint ticking of the cooling engine from another car nearby. Then she opens her eyes again. Starts the engine. Drives. The road is mostly empty. Traffic lights change for no one. Her car moves through green after green without slowing. When she reaches home, the house is quiet. Too quiet. The porch light is on. She unlocks the door. It opens with a soft click. Inside, the air is still. The living room lamp remains lit. Someone must have left it that way. She places the coat on the back of a chair. Doesn't hang it up. Doesn't put it away. It stays there, sleeve slightly twisted, as if someone just took it off and might come back for it. She walks down the hallway, each step softer than the last. At the end of the hall, a door stands half open. She pauses, pushes it gently. The room inside is dark except for the faint blue glow of a digital clock. She sits on the edge of the bed. Her phone vibrates again. In the darkness, the screen lights up her face. She looks at the name, watches it ring. Her thumb hovers over the screen. Doesn't move. The ringing stops. The light fades. She lowers the phone onto the mattress beside her. Outside, somewhere down the street, a car door slams. Footsteps pass along the pavement. Inside the room, she sits alone. Back slightly curved, hands resting loosely in her lap. The coat in the other room, the folded paper in her pocket. The door still half open. Her phone lights up once more. She doesn't reach for it. The screen glows in the dark, then goes black. And the night continues without asking permission.